Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Christine. So today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favorite foundations and my 5 least favorite. I'm going to be including foundations both from drugstore and high-end. Before we go ahead and get started, first make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and the little notification bell so you don't miss on any more videos. I am uploading a little hair video soon on how I keep my hair healthy and a mini review on Halo Beauty. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss out. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the review. This makeup is snatched. Okay, I feel like I haven't worn false lashes in such a long time, but I did film this look for a little Instagram video, so if you guys haven't followed me on Instagram yet, I'll go ahead and link my Instagram down below. Let's go ahead and get started with my review. The first foundation that I want to talk about is this Maybelline 24-Hour Foundation. I love this foundation. If you guys watch my foundation review video, I compared the Maybelline 24-Hour with this L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour. Both of these are very comparable. I would highly recommend checking out that video for a more like in-depth review, but I love this Maybelline foundation. This one is so beautiful on the skin and it lasts so long. The color that I have is in 310 Sun Beige. I will go ahead and link all the products down below with color names as well, so be sure to check down in the description box. I love this foundation. I feel like it looks so gorgeous on. This color match is so bomb too. I feel like Maybelline always does a really good job of having a good range of shades and tones. I can always find my color in Maybelline foundations. When you apply this foundation on, it just looks so much like skin. It's medium to full buildable coverage and it just looks beautiful. Even 6 to 7 hours after applying it, it looks just as good as when I first put on my foundation. I have really oily, acne prone skin and it's very important that my foundations keep me matte throughout the day, but they also don't break me out. I find that this foundation doesn't irritate my skin at all. It also has a little pump, which is a great bonus. The Fit Me doesn't have a pump. This one retails for $9. I think it's totally worth it. Nowadays it seems like drugstore prices are kind of going up. This is definitely a reasonable price for a drugstore foundation. Okay, next up we have this L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. This foundation is so bomb. In my review video, I compared the both of these together, but even now, after trying them both thoroughly, I can't decide on a favorite. I feel like I like them both for different things. This one looks even more natural on my skin, and this one is slightly lighter coverage than the Maybelline foundation does. This one feels really light and natural on my skin, but at the same time, it doesn't give me quite as full coverage as the Maybelline 24-Hour does. They both wear similarly, and the color that I have this one in is 485. These are beautiful foundations. This one retails for $12 at Target, which I think is a little bit up there, but this honestly reminds me of so many high-end foundations. If I were to compare it to something, I would say it's very comparable to the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. Very similar. This one just feels really high-end for me and absolutely is worth the $12. If you guys want to see a video on like how to always find your foundation shade in drugstore foundations, let me know. I have so many like tips and tricks for how I find my correct shade whenever I'm buying like drugstore makeup products. So let me know if you guys want to see that. My next favorite, I talk about this on my Instagram literally all the time, but I love this Wander Beauty Nude Illusion Foundation. This is just gorgeous. It has a little doe foot applicator and it makes it so fun and easy for applying my makeup. I just feel like when I'm traveling, I can just dab it on my face and then blend it out with a sponge. I don't need to get like the back of my hand or my fingers dirty, which I really appreciate. So this is just really great for on the go. This one retails for $40 at Sephora, but I think it is so worth the money. I just find that this foundation looks really good in photos. It also looks really gorgeous in real life. $40 is a little bit more expensive, but in regards to like high-end foundations, that's like an average price. I think this is beautiful and it just feels good on the skin, doesn't feel like you're wearing anything. The color that I have it in is golden medium and it just fits me perfectly. This is definitely one of my favorite foundations of all time. Next up, this one is also a foundation that I have loved for a really long time. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. I actually haven't used this in a long time, but every time I pick it up and use it, I remember why I love it so much. It kind of smells like paint. Oh yeah. It smells like straight up paint, but the applicator is just like this little paddle, if you will, so you kind of just swipe it on your face. I feel like this is probably the thinnest foundation that I have, but it still gives me good medium to full coverage. This one is also buildable, and the color that I have it in is golden beige, which matches me perfectly. The only reason why I put up the smell of this foundation is because it fades really quickly. Like once I have it all blended out, I don't really notice the smell anymore. It also just blends beautifully, wears really nicely throughout the day. I would say my other foundations wear a bit longer than this one does, but this one just looks so beautiful on the skin. I do find myself reaching for this very often. If you need a foundation that is like sweat proof and waterproof, this is not it, but it will look really pretty for the 6 to 7 hours that you have it on throughout the day. I find myself reaching for this in the colder months, but when it's warmer, I like the Maybelline 24 Hour and the L'Oreal Infallible because I feel like those are sweat proof. They will stay on your face all day. Another foundation that I really like is this CoverGirl Full Spectrum Matte Ambition Foundation. This one says it is an all-day shine-free foundation, and I don't know if I would go as far as saying that. It is really matte, and it's actually what I have on my face today, and it gives my face like a really satin finish. This one actually feels a little bit dewier than my L'Oreal and my Maybelline foundation. I really like this because of the way that it looks on my skin. Like when I want something just in between, not too matte but also not too dewy, I reach for this. It also has really good lasting power. This one retails for $9, which is not a lot of money. I also like that the cap locks into place, which is kind of like an extra bonus, but I think that's Brandon. He has a key. But I love this foundation. They actually have such a good range of colors as well. The one thing that I really like about this... Oh my god, so earlier I texted Brandon that I wanted Cinnabon, and look what he brought home. So I'm just gonna eat this and be right back. Amazing, delicious. I love Cinnabon so much, I'm obsessed. Also, I can't stop looking at how good my makeup looks. I did like a mini cut crease. Stinking pretty. I haven't done my makeup like this in so long and I appreciate it. Okay, anyways. Another favorite foundation for me is this Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. Catrice sent this to me about 1 to 2 months ago, and I tried it out a couple times just to make sure that I like truly love it, and I love it. It just looks so good on my skin, and the texture is a little bit thicker, like if you could see. But the way that it looks on my skin is just gorgeous. Every time I took like a makeup selfie and put in my stories, people always DM'd me and asked me what foundation I was wearing, and this one just photographs really, really well. There's no flashback and gives me really full coverage, which I really like, but at the same time it just kind of gives me like a photoshopped effect where it makes my skin look super blurred and perfect. The color of it matches me perfectly, and I have it in the color Honey Beige. It is like a smidge light on me, but I find that it does oxidize a little bit. I love this foundation, and it retails for $12, which is a really good price, and I really like the dropper bottle applicator as well. So those were all of my favorite foundations, and now let's go into my least favorite foundation. I just filmed a full face of e.l.f. makeup, so if you guys haven't seen that yet, go ahead and link it up in the corner, but I love the way that my makeup turned out. This unfortunately did not work well with my skin. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. I have it in the color Nude, and the color Nude actually fits me perfect. When I first like swatched it, I thought it was gonna be way too light, but it kind of oxidizes and gets a little bit darker. This foundation looks gorgeous when you first put it on, and it reminds me a lot of the CoverGirl foundation. Like the texture of both of these is very similar, where it's super thick, but literally after an hour of wearing it, my natural oil started coming through and I kind of had to blot it, and then when I blotted my face, the makeup just kind of started breaking up. So I just would not recommend this foundation. It retails for $6, which is a really good price, but if you want to spend around that same amount of money, you can get the Wet n Wild foundation, and it will wear better on your skin. Another disappointing foundation was this Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define foundation. I heard Casey Holmes talking about this foundation, and she raves about it being one of her favorites, so I went out and got it, and I don't like it. I've tried it so many different times. I even packed it with me when I went to Seattle last weekend. I don't like the way that it looks. I have it in the color F10, which suits me really well. It is a little bit dark for my skin tone right now, but in the summer it's fine. I feel like it emphasizes my pores. I don't really have a lot of foundations that emphasize my pores. If anything, my only problem with foundations is that it doesn't last long. This foundation lasts a really long time. When you first put it on your skin, it gives it like a matte satin finish, which I really like, but no matter what I do, if I buff it in with a brush or really go at it with my sponge, it just sits on top of my skin. I feel like it doesn't really sink into my pores at all. It doesn't really give me an airbrush look that I want. The only thing that I do really like about it is a really full coverage foundation, and that might be why it kind of sits on top of the skin more than some of the other foundations that I have. It's just not one of my favorites. It retails for $12, which is kind of a lot for Drugstore foundation, but it does come in a really nice glass applicator. Another foundation I do not like is this VDL Perfect Lasting Foundation. I worked with them for a lipstick launch that they did, and they also sent me this foundation, and I just didn't like it. It stayed kind of wet looking, and it never really set, so when I would talk on the phone or anything, I would just get makeup all over it. It kind of slipped and slided like all over my face. Did not really look good on my skin. I have it in the color 04, which actually matches me really, really well, and this one retails for $35 at Ulta. I wish it looked better, and the packaging is so cute. I just want my foundation to set, you know, like I don't want it slipping and sliding all over my face. I don't want it transferring on my clothes, my hands. Looks cakey on, and I'm just not a fan of this. Another foundation that I didn't really like is this Cover FX Power Play Foundation. I wanted this foundation to work so bad, especially from the name. You would think it would have like a really long lasting power. I have it in the color G50. This color matches me beautifully. It has a really nice yellow undertone to it. This one retails for $44. This one is the most expensive foundation out of all the ones that I mentioned. It looks so thick, and the first time I put it on, it just like, it actually felt heavy on my face. I don't like to feel my foundations when I'm wearing it, so this one just felt too thick, never really set, and I feel like the two of these like really remind me of each other. I would save your coins, sis. Another foundation that I do not like is this Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Foundation. This will surprise some people because I feel like this is such a highly raved about foundation, and when I finally got it, I tried it so many different times because I was like, okay, there's no way that this looks this bad on my skin. It just feels heavy. It doesn't really set down. This one is also one of those foundations where it is really full coverage, but it kind of does like a slip and slide all over my face and never really sets. I just don't like how heavy it feels. It doesn't give me a matte finish at all, but it's more of a like dewy satin finish. The color I think is a little bit off. It's a little bit too like peachy for me. I have it in the color 3-in-1 Ivory Beige. The applicator is also like just a bottle, so I'm not a fan of the packaging. It's kind of messy and just doesn't really work well with my skin. So that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed all of my reviews. If you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up so I know that you liked the video and want to see more stuff like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to check out these videos before you go, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!